Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, January 28th. We know that USCIS has, at least for a while now, been checking the social media accounts of applicants for immigration benefits. So today I want to talk about a few ways that USCIS can use your social media against you in the adjustment of status context or in any kind of family-based petition. So let's start with a marriage-based petition. One obvious way that social media will be used is contradictions in the marriage bona fides. So for example, what you say in the I-130 or the I-485 contradicts what's publicly visible online. You say you live together or you lived together since X date, but your Instagram or your Facebook posts show you traveling the world, kind of living your single life with your girlfriends, and not a lot of stuff at home. It's not necessarily stating that you're not in a relationship, but you're not living cohabitating, and there's no photos of you cohabitating on your social media. Additionally, when you claimed you had, a wedding and there's photos of you and your partner, and sure, it could be an intimate courthouse ceremony where nobody else is involved, but if you don't show any photos at all of that, there are 0 photos on your social media of your wedding, that could raise some red flags. Along the same lines are kind of undisclosed relationships. So maybe you had a prior spouse, fiance, or a long-term partner, and that individual is still all over your social media, whereas your current partner is just kind of a blip on the radar. These petitions claiming kind of exclusivity since X date, but then photos that contradict that are, especially dangerous. Next is in the employment context. This is a law, regardless of whether it's a marriage-based petition, unauthorized employment could appear on your social media. And if you haven't disclosed that, you could be in for an issue. So, USCIS generally knows that unauthorized work happens. What they care about is whether you lied about it, tried to hide it, or you compounded it, right, with fraud. So you need to disclose your employment, and a lot of people get caught here because they're thinking in the context of an employer. Did I work at, a company with a W-2? But they're not thinking about it in the context of, hey, I do nails, and on my social media it says book an appointment with me, and you haven't disclosed that. So keep an eye out for that. Review your social media and your petitions to make sure that they are accurate and consistent. Next is immigration intent at entry. So these are individuals who, entered with a B1, B2 tourist visa, and then they later married a U.S. citizen and are doing adjustment of status. And USCIS might look at posts from before your entry and say, hey, you knew that you were going to stay in the U.S., and your posts show it. It says, packing up for, my move to the U.S. on social media, or bye-bye so-and-so, can't wait to start my new life, and these are pre-entry, then they're going to contradict that with whatever you said at admission, and say that, hey, you misrepresented things when you entered. Next is criminal or gang affiliations. A lot of people kind of throw up these weird gang signs, hand signals, and photos and think they're being funny or cute, and that is going to flag you for association with gang members, gang ties, and there can just be delays or denials based on discretion. Finally, 2 more. Political content, we already know, is going to be used against you, especially now. Not even just extremist content. So I'm not talking about violent ideology here. I'm talking about things that are just generally political and maybe not favorable to this administration. This can trigger national security vetting, national security concerns. And then finally, deleted content. If you delete content prior to your interview, there's a chance that USCIS already may have archived it, and now you're just raising a red flag for no reason. They're going to interpret that sudden deletion as some consciousness of guilt or something. So, if it's up there, after you filed and prior to your interview, don't delete it right before your interview. Assume that that's going to be used against you. So these are kind of some ways in which your social media can be used against you by USCIS in the family-based petition context.